Hey everybody, how's everybody doing out there on YouTube? Hope everybody's having a great week. Right now it is Wednesday and we are doing something a little exciting. I am working on this technique with the India ink and actually adding on something that's really cool. So give me one moment. I just got fix these little bugs here. Let's see. Okay, so as you can see here, okay, and what I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to get the main camera to work. So give me just a quick moment. It's always a little bit of a technical difficulty in the beginning, right? So I go through that probably every week. There's always something. Live streaming is still very new technology. So give me one quick moment. I am everything. I'm the talent, tech support, camera guy, you name it. That's what I do. Let's see. So I'm going to turn the camera off. See, now we're working good. So let me turn on very quickly the live comments. That's Facebook. I got to go to YouTube live comments. There we go. And this way I can see you guys talking to me. Great. So I think we're pretty much set. Hey, look, there's Wendy. Hey, Wendy. And Kiva, how are you? Thank you so much for stopping by, guys. Let me go ahead and lighten this up with the shutter speed here. Oh wow, spaghetti, very good. So that's good. So you guys can eat spaghetti on your end. I can't eat spaghetti on my end, but but I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for stopping by. So we're going to do. Hey Lisa, do I see you there? How you doing? Good to see you, Lisa. So as you see, we've gotten pretty far with this, and it has a definite look, a definite different look on this here. I'm just gonna adjust the lighting. How is the lighting with you guys? Does it look good to you guys? Let me lower the shutter speed, see if I can get a sweet spot. What do you guys think of that? Does that look good? Let's see. Okay. So now let's go ahead and start doing some. Okay, lighting is great. Sound is okay as well. Maybe I can move a little closer. What do you guys think? Oh, thanks, Lisa. Very cool. All right, so I'm just going to show you my technique of how I go ahead and do my mixture. So if you haven't already, just shoot me an email and I'll send you this. This is my chart on how I actually do my values and my mixtures from light to dark. And it has to do with the degree of dilution of ink and water, which is really helps. And I did that several years ago. It took a long time, but it's a really good system. So I have my India ink here, and I want to go pretty dark here. So I'm probably going to do 3 full eyedroppers of ink to 3 full eyedroppers of water to 6 drops of ink. So let's start with the water. And this is a regular 3-inch eyedropper where you can pick up at a CVS or something like that. And then I have an empty cup. So we're going to do 3 to 6. So So that's 3 full eyedroppers of water to every 6 drops of ink. So I'm going to do 6. Now always check to see if there's any little floaty things in there. If there is, don't use it, because that's going to get into your airbrush. So 1, 2, 3. You know what? This is good because you never want to cut corners with this. Oh, thanks. Yes, the white really is making a difference here. See, there's little floaties in there, and those little floaties are actually going to go into your airbrush and clog things up. So I'm not going to use this water. I will be right back. Actually, I have water right here. That's very fortunate. Drinking water works fine. And I'm going to get a new cup, because these are things that really could mess you up. So if you stem it in the beginning, you're in good shape. So we're going to do 3 to 6. So we're going to do 6 and 12. So we're going to do 6 of these eyedroppers of water. 3, 4, 5, 6. And it doesn't always come out all the way, so you just do a little bit more. Okay, so you've got my water now. Now we're going to go ahead with the Higgins Waterproof India Ink. And with this, it comes with an eyedropper, which is really cool. See if different camera work could. Here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start with my custom micron, and that is the CM-SB, which is one of my favorite airbrushes in the world. Now, this is a little cup, right? So if I go to actually pour this in there, I'm going to have an issue, because usually, okay, Wendy, see you in a little bit. Now, okay, so no one can hear me? All right, let's see. I think I know exactly what's happening. Okay. How is that better? Can you guys hear me now? How about now? Can you guys hear me? I think, believe it or not, I think I hit the mute button accidentally. Let's see. Okay, so you guys can hear me now because I accidentally hit the mute button. It was blinking, so I think we're out of the woods. Okay, sorry about that. So, first couple of minutes sometimes are always crazy, right? That's for sure. So you guys can hear me now? Great. Always do your first sprays on a test piece of paper. Never do it here, because the first spray, a lot of times you'll get that burst. Hey Willie, how you doing? Good to see you today. Always great to talk to you and hang out. So thank you so much for coming by. So here we are. This is my reference, and so we're right here, and I just put the dark in my airbrush. Now, of course, when you are working on a vertical surface, as I am, you have to make sure you adjust the cup, otherwise you'll spill in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start to darken the hair. And that's what I do, is I, little by little, I go ahead and darken everything. And, you know, I go from light to dark. So even my darkest darks get darker and darker with time. And that's how I build things as far as value. And what I'm going to show you is how versatile this India ink is on this paper, which is really quite wild. So this is basically pretty much of a test. I didn't know how the white would react to the paper and the ink, whether there be a massive blue shift, but there really isn't. And I'm really pleasantly surprised. Now everything that you see, those strokes, they are always using dagger strokes, so that's important. No, actually I really didn't. I didn't have to add any kind of orange to combat the blue shift, which was surprising. But I did water down the white, you know, which was really cool. And so by watering it down, it wasn't as opaque, and it sort of covered it very slowly. So I actually build up my whites. So, as you can see, the darks are really starting to come together. Okay, so I'm going to show you how great this technique is, in the sense I could use just this mono eraser and I could erase out the highlights. Just like the illustration colors by Createx, the same principle. And on this side, there really aren't any highlights. It's all coming from here, so the light is coming from this direction above her. Oh, thank you, Wendy. I think so. And little by little, it's coming together. Okay, now let's work on this area here, and I can do that one of two ways, and I think I want to do that with the paintbrush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ink that I already mixed, and we're going to go ahead and very lightly indicate some of those hairs. And that's the beauty of this technique. You could flawlessly go from one technique to another. So Wendy, everything sounds good right now? No issues? Oh, great. And you know what's really good? That you could do this with the airbrush, these little hairs, but the paintbrush just works so much better. And that's why you want to use the tool that works best. And of course I can dust over this to soften it where her scalp is, which is really cool. You do those little wispy hairs here and there. So the paintbrush is definitely indispensable, I feel. And we could come over here on this side. Oh, thanks, Willie. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, sir. And then over here, we'll just do some really light wispy hairs here. Like I said, we can do that. We can do that with the airbrush, but the paintbrush is just the better tool. So Lisa says Soriyama switches back and forth like that too. Interesting though that he sprays waterproof sealant before he airbrushes over the ink. Oh, okay. That is interesting, definitely. The good thing is that I use waterproof ink, so we really don't have to seal it, which is good. Now the brush I'm using is a Winsor & Newton Cotman Rigger brush. It really is a liner brush, and it works really well. it's very interesting. You know, I like using different tools. The one good thing about this, Lisa, is that it's not mixed media in the sense that it's just pure ink. Because before, I was actually using white pastel here, so the whole painting is India ink, which is really, I don't think it would be considered mixed media, which is good. I think mixed media has a bad rap, right? But as far as like entering into juried art exhibitions, mixed media is sort of a stigma. And since we're here, let's do some little striations or wrinkles in her lips. Now you can airbrush over the ink with acrylic paints. That's what I do when I do my color. But this is a pure ink painting, and so everything is ink, which is great. And it's sort of I wouldn't say it's revolutionary, but I don't think anyone's really paying attention to India ink as a art form with airbrush, and that's to my benefit. I've always in the past used India ink as an underpainting for my pastels and for my airbrush paintings, but now I'm deciding to do just full-on India ink paintings. So I think I showed you guys this before, but it's always cool to show you because I know you guys like this. Let me just clean off my brush. I'm going to go back to my airbrush here. So you guys remember this? This is Blackbeard wheat, and you can get this at a craft store. It might be hard, but it is decorative. So, and I know you can get it online, definitely. So what we do is we just put that here, and we just spray, and then we get really, really organic looking hair. So you see that's something that I could not reproduce on my own. So thank God for Blackbeard wheat. And you just move it around. And yeah, it's hard to find. It really is. I found it at EC Moore about 4 years ago, and I bought, actually about 7 years ago, and I bought a whole lot of it, and so I'm still using it, which is great. So this stuff is real cheap. You get like a lot, like almost like a couple years worth for like maybe $10. But it definitely is a good tool to get really cool hair. Don't you guys think? Don't you like it? And then here, just slowly we're darkening everything. So, but what I really love, you can use a whisk broom or a regular, old-fashioned straw broom, but you have to cut it up. But I don't think you're going to get as fine as this. So it will work, but it all depends. Everything's going to have its own look. I like the Blackbeard wheat because it really gets in there. Okay. I'm gonna lighten it up a bit. How does that look? Okay, or is that too light for you guys? No, Lisa, I'm not doing it on Facebook anymore. I'm gonna keep it on YouTube. Um, just change it up a little bit. Plus, YouTube is not. Facebook is not showing me any love, so I am not too happy with them. And plus, when I do it on Facebook, YouTube, it actually helps the algorithm of my YouTube channel. So that's good. So it's sort of a win-win. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and I'll show you guys a little bit because we have only like a half hour more. Oh, okay. I thought you were. Okay, so you're not Lisa. You're Kiva Artist One. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Now Lisa's out there. No, I thought I saw Lisa. I'm so confused. But thanks, Kiva, for clearing that up. I would have been calling you Lisa for the rest of the evening. I'm really sorry. So I'm going to take a brand new cup. Now, I don't like the Higgins white. I think it's not that good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Kiva. I'm using Bombay, and this is their India Ink, White India Ink. And right now I'm not so exact because the dropper on this pretty much broke as when I bought it. So let's go to here. Okay. So I'm just going to move her away. And like the ink is not an exact science. So I'm just going to do a couple of drops here, just like that. And then I'm going to get my water and I'm going to dilute it pretty well. And you just dilute it like this. Sort of like the consistency of skim milk, maybe, like that. And then I'm going to switch airbrushes. So when I'm using the white, since the white is thick, and the white does tend to get tip dry, stuff like that. So I'm going to use my Eclipse. It has a much wider, a very wide nozzle, so and needle head assembly. So it's able to handle it much better. So we'll put that in. And we're just switching cameras. Hey Jake, how's it going? Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. So let's put that in there. And we'll bring her back. Now, we're not going to go ahead and initially paint on our painting. That would be disastrous, especially with a new color. So, I'm just going to go to this camera here. Switch it over here. And let's whoop. So we gotta lower the pressure. That's what these MAC valves are really great for. And adjust the cup. So as you can see, it's nice and watery. Let me lower the shutter speed a little bit. Let's see. So, yeah, you're going to have to take my word for it, guys. So it's nice and watery, so it covers slowly. Okay, so let's lighten this up. There we go. Okay. So now we have where we did our ink, and then we have where we did the white, and then you see some of the paper showing through. That's what you want with a technique like this. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start building some of these whites. And we can build some of the whites right here. So let's do that. And you can see that it slowly builds the white. Beautiful. It really is incredible. Now, if I was to go into the black area, yeah, you're going to have problems. It's going to look ugly. Much like, remember when we used to do the drawing, and the drawing used to, we always kept the stump dedicated for the white and the stump dedicated for the graphite, and you don't mix it. Same exact concept applies here. So just do the same thing that we were talking about with the drawing. That's all. And you slowly build it up, just like the graphite, just like the white pastel. But it's far more better, far more interesting and effective, because you get these beautiful blends that you can't get with white pastel. So yes, I did take a gamble by going in with white pastel. I mean, getting rid of the white pastel and going in with the white India ink, but it really paid off. So the PSI is super low. I would say probably maybe 14 or lower, and I even lower it even more. So I play it by ear, and also I keep my distance too. So that helps when you have a very thin ink. So that really works. So you can see I can really do this just as effective as when I was using the white pastel on our drawings on tinted paper. Now, remember, we can also erase. So the white pastel was able to erase with the pencil, and now we can do the same thing in a limited way with the white India ink. Yeah, I stay away from Daler Rowney. I think they're really good, Jake. However, they do not, they're not erasable. Not like these are. And with this technique, it really, really pays to have the base of the Higgins waterproof India ink, because it's made basically with carbon and soot and water, so it's very pliable. When you're going in with FW inks by Daler Rowney and other inks, they have an acrylic base, and that acrylic base is really what's causing the problem. Oh, okay, so the white India ink is Bombay by Dr. P.H. Martin, and it's a white India ink, and it's really great. And as you can see, I watered it down a lot. Definitely. You definitely, if you're going to do stuff like that, after you have something like this established, and then go back with glazes, although I never experimented with that yet. Not yet. So I could really, as I move away from the surface, I could actually get a lot. Oh, thank you, Jake. I appreciate that very much, very much. So I can be far away, and I can get much more subtle gradations of tone. Now, even here, so let's say I went a little light, I can actually take my eraser and I can, there we go. So really groundbreaking as far as this technique. So this is actually my first painting using this technique, and I'll tell you, it's really cool, and I really recommend you guys giving it a shot. So right here, there's these lights. See how the lights are coming here. So I'm going to do that as well. And I can just build that up. Not do it in one pass. You can even let it dry. Then you can come back. And then you don't get too white, which is really great. Same thing here, right around here. There's a light. So it's just really great to be able to do this. Now, over here, it gets a little light over here. So let's go ahead and set it up. So remember when we were working with the, before we were working with the pastel, when we were doing the drawings, and we want to make sure that the surface isn't dirty when we go ahead and put the white down. And I think the same is true here. So we can clean up the surface and prepare for the white. Let's see if I can get my kneaded eraser. Here we go. And let's go ahead and prepare this here. Okay, so that's good. Now, let's go ahead and very lightly and if I've gotten too light, I can always adjust that too. So it's really very pliable, this technique. Okay, so I'm going to change my airbrush back to the India ink. I have a second hose. I'm just lazy. I didn't connect the other airbrush to the manifold. Okay, remember when we have we're starting a new airbrush or putting new color in, we never want to do the first spray on our painting. And test it out. See, everything is working well. So when you go over the white, it doesn't cause any problems whatsoever, which is really refreshing. And we could definitely adjust this right here. See, that's a little bit dark. I could lighten that up, just like if I was lightening up pencil. So you see how it's very malleable, which is really great. Same thing here. Right here it's a little bit lighter. There's some lights in the shadows. And I can actually achieve that. And let me get out my freehand shield. And I got so many of these things, and you can't have enough freehand shields. I've never known anyone to say, oh, I have too many. That never happens. Okay. A nice dark tone here, and you see that we're just working that in. And you can crawl it along the surface, or you can find the exact edge that you need. Either or works. Some people use their fingers, but I don't like spraying on my fingers, quite frankly. Okay. So you can see we're just building up here and there, and we can also calm it down, like this area right here. We're going to calm this down by spraying over it, over the white, with no adverse side effects. Okay. All right. So, and then, you know, just as if you're drawing with graphite, there's no difference here, no difference whatsoever. You're always adjusting. But now you can adjust while painting as if you're drawing. So we're bridging the gap between drawing and painting, which I think is really fantastic. And I think it opens the door and actually takes the intimidation of painting, especially in airbrush, takes away the intimidation factor. Because, you know, everyone started out drawing, and this is a way to bridge the two. And then, as Jake says, you know, perhaps we'll go ahead into color, but right now we're definitely going to concentrate on the drawing aspects of this. And of course you can use all different types of of all different types of erasers. Some hard, some soft. Yes, this is. I think you did ask. I'm so sorry about that, Wendy. Yes, it is the gunmetal, the darker one. And I think the darker one works really well. It sort of adds more mystery, I think, than the actual lighter color, which is Dreadnought. And what we can do is we can actually do some really nice creases in the neck here, just like that. So Jake, how is your painting coming? Jake's working on this really wild painting. Jake, explain exactly what the subject matter is on your painting. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear you explain it to the group today. And also, Kiva just came back from Drew Blair's class. So Kiva, tell us, what was your favorite thing about Drew Blair's class? No, Kiva, I would never put a sealant on this. You don't have to. What I do is just put it on the glass as I do with a pastel. And that works really well. So right here is something I did, and I put it under glass, and that's using this technique. And what's pretty cool is that when I put this under glass, it was warping just a little bit, but once I put it under glass, it's just perfect, and it's pretty much sealed forever. So there's no problems. This is light fast, so it's pretty cool. Oh, great. So Jake says he's doing a fantasy painting of a cursed cowboy. Pretty cool. So he's doing rocks and water and all kinds of really wild textures. If you get a chance, check it out, guys. So the big question I have for Kiva, what was the color theory like? Did you find it very helpful right away? Do you still use the theories from his class? And so I do see here that it's a little darker than I want it to be. So I'm just going to take my eraser. And this is a very soft eraser. It's not aggressive like, let's say, this one is. So we can definitely use a softer one. We don't want to kill the surface. The ink really erases so well. And the ink doesn't change whether it's dry or just painted. There's no difference, which is really fantastic. So it's so hot here tonight. It's really What's weird, I think it's hotter in the evening than it was during the day. Let me check it out. Alexa, what's the temperature like?
Right now, it's 83 degrees. Tonight, expect a low of 73 degrees.
Yes, it's actually 83 degrees at night, but unlike where Wendy is, 83 degrees is probably like winter time because it gets so hot there. Oh, great. So Kiva says it was wonderful at Drew's class, and she made many new friends, and wow, how great. And Sylvia Belviso, she's such a talented artist. She really is. And she's also a chef. Wow. Oh, and a chef from Australia. Airbrush cakes, that's so neat. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think Drew has this real cutting edge color theory. And the students from his class are able to match color so accurately afterwards. And I really wish that Drew would come out with a book or something like that, because I definitely would love to tackle that. I mean, with experience, we all have our own color theories, right? And yeah, he is amazing. His class, so many people have taken it. So basically, so Kaylee's a chef from Australia. Oh, cool. Very cool. But you see how there's no difference. Actually, working in this technique, there's no difference between this and working in pencil. None whatsoever. The advantages, however, are that you can get as dark as possible, and you can't do that with pencil or graphite. Yeah, Drew is such a nice guy. Yeah, he really is. I remember when I first started airbrushing, and I would, instant message him, and he was really nice and very, very gracious. Yeah, he's one of the good guys. Okay, so let's build up the highlight here. So we can do that. So let's come over here. And what we can do is you could watch me change out my airbrush here. Back to the white. And then we could, let's see, can I darken this? No, that's pretty good, I think. Now you have to be patient with this white because it's very thin. So you'll lay down and you lay it down, let it dry, lay more down, let it dry, and you build it up. That's the way to do it. And you see you can build up those beautiful highlights. And I'm even going to lower the air pressure. So if you do have the custom micron or the Eclipse SBS, please get the Mac valve. If you don't, you're just hurting yourself. That's all. Just makes your life more easier because you can control the air pressure with very micro adjustments. So that's very important. So you just let that dry. And then you just sort of build up that light. You see that? We're just building it up. Make sure that I'm getting a good line here. We might have a little tip dry. And I think that was the case. Go. Well, definitely, that's a great idea, Jake. I really appreciate that. And I'm going to be doing some, basically, I want to do digital downloads like they have on Coast Airbrush for different artists doing different projects. So I want to do it in Airbrush, you know, with India Ink because no one else is doing it. And also I want to do some with drawing and with pastel. So I have some really good plans. But yes, thank you so much, Jake. I appreciate that. It really helps. Oh, work for Drew Blair? No, I don't want to work for Drew Blair. I admire him very much. But, you know, he is the guy in Airbrush, right? If you are working Airbrush, he's the guy who's the best. And I can't compare to him. He's a legend, right? But I'll just do my own thing quietly and unassumingly. And hopefully I'll help out people in my own way. So I hope. That's what we can hope, right, Jake? That in a small way we can help others. I don't know if I want to work for anybody anymore. I've been doing it so long, and now I just want to do my own thing, right? I'm an old guy, Jake. I've been working in the business world for other people for a long time. Probably working for Drew would be amazing, but he needs young guys like you with lots of energy, not old guys like me. But I'm happy, doing some, small classes here and there, and doing my live streams. But definitely have some plans of my own that I think are going to help a lot of people out. And I also think that it's going to help me with my own income. So I will be able to do more and more of this stuff. More and more of my own work, and also experiment like this. Who knows what my next experiment is going to be? Ah, thank you. But the good thing is, so these are like sort of teasers, right? And what I'm going to do is, the good thing is I'll have, oh, thank you, Willie. I appreciate that. And it's so cool. But what I want to do is like 6-hour intense from beginning to end digital downloads. So we'll go over the paper and the ink and all those different things, and sort of like you can watch me over my shoulder through the whole process. So I think that will be pretty good, and it won't be too expensive either. And there'll be different projects, there'll be a pastel, there'll be an India ink underpainting, there'll be an India ink painting like this, all different things. And so that would be good. Oh, thanks, Jake. I appreciate it. So it's cool that we can use the same ink that's in our airbrush, and we can do some really nice detail. So very fluid one into the other. But still using the same medium. Just different tools. Oh, I appreciate you guys for, coming and spending Wednesday night. I feel kind of yucky today. I was so hungry and I went ahead and ate 3 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. What a mistake that was. But I was just so hungry and, oh, it's just horrible. So I have a stomach ache from that. Note to self, don't have 3 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches ever again. Yeah, but not 3 sandwiches. Oh my goodness. I overdid it. So once again, I say in every one of my live streams, email me at paintedglyphs@gmail.com, and I will send you my mixtures, my ratios, ink to water from light to dark, which would be really great. So do that, and this way you'll be on my mailing list, so if something new comes out, I can definitely alert you to new videos, new live streams, which will be pretty cool. Yes, 1 is good. I should have stopped at 1, but I haven't been that hungry in so long. What I really like about this technique, it sort of has a smoky look to it, and sort of a mysterious, almost spiritual look. It really does. I mean, it's really something. So right here, I did use Drew Blair's, so I think Drew would like to hear that. So this is a free plug for you, Drew. I used his mini dots right over here to get this right there. And I was able to shoot the ink through it. And, oh, thank you, Wendy, for putting that up there. Yes, and Kiva, I'll send you that. So it's my ink to water ratios, and it really will be helpful. You should really try this technique. I think you would really love it, especially since you are doing the airbrush now. You'll find that ink is 100 times better than any acrylic paint out there. It just is made for airbrush. It's so thin, you only get tip dry with the white India ink. With the black India ink, you never get tip dry, which is really good. And what I love about this is that, for many years I've been using India ink for underpaintings, and now doing it as a fully resolved piece, I feel like I have so much experience in this medium. Now let me show you one thing before I go. So I'm going to clean out this brush. I'm going to take the India ink, the white India ink that we've been using. We're going to do some dry brush techniques using the white. And this is where the rubber meets the road with this technique. Whoa! I almost dipped it into the black. That would have been bad. No video, huh? Let's see. Okay, so you don't see my video right now? Because it's saying I'm on YouTube Live. Okay, so you guys can see me now, is that correct? That's weird. Is it sort of like, is it hiccuping or anything like that? Because I think it was smooth before. But yeah, so if I can isolate exactly what time it started hiccuping, that would be great. Hey John, how's it going? Good to see ya. Oh, okay, cool. All right, so we're good, thank God. So that's good. I'm glad. I think last week was one of the few weeks where we didn't have any issues whatsoever. That was pretty cool. Yeah, since I had all that peanut butter and jelly today, so I'm a little bit off. Oh, this is yes, it's a 333 rigger, or number 1. Actually, number 1 Winsor & Newton Cotman rigger brush. And it's really good. I always get this one. This is like my 10th one. They're not the most expensive, but they do the job. And when they die, I just get another one. But you guys see how I can actually build that up using the airbrush and then do the highlights on top of the airbrush to get that real feeling of the highlights sitting on the light as opposed to just a strong highlight. Now sometimes you'll have a strong highlight just sitting on there on a mid-tone, like here of course. That happens on a very shiny surface, like on the tip of her nose or here on her eye, that sort of thing. But here on the face, it usually is on top of a light. Oh, cool. Yes, straight white ink, but not straight white ink, the same dilution that I had. And I just, with the brush, you can pretty much either do a dry brush technique, would get rid of some of the paint or ink that's on there, or you can do it straight and get a strong application. See, like right here, I would get a sort of a weaker application. And you guys will see if that's a little too strong, I'm going to go back into it. But I kind of like having the right side of her eye, the white of her eye, kind of bright. Kind of gives a real feel of an encounter. And that's what I'm looking for with a portrait. I want the portrait to grab the viewer from across the room. That's always my goal. When I'm setting up a pose, that's what I want. So I think we went over, we had some hiccups here and there. So I think we're at a solid hour right now. So what do you guys think? You think it's a good technique? Do you like it? What are your thoughts on the India ink with the white ink? And I'm thinking of doing some really cool things. You ever see those photographs where you just see just a little bit of color, like in the lips or the eyes? I might do some stuff like that. Oh, thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that so much. And I think this is something that we all could explore, because I think this is something that's being ignored. One of the things, and I love the automotive artists, you know, the custom painters, but I think everything is pretty much geared toward those guys, you know, the paint companies and everything. And I'm finding that, you know, as a fine artist, someone who does easel painting, that ink might be the way to go. Yes, it does have that old photo look. I agree, definitely. That's what I like about it, yes. Yes, so it's the P.H. Martin's Bombay White India ink, so definitely pick that up. It's really great. And yeah, thanks, Willie. I appreciate that. And thanks, John. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes, you do get that full range and dynamic range. Sounds like you are a photographer. That's you know, I love the way the photographers say that, the dynamic range. So John, I definitely hear your photography background, which is really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on this, and I'm going to be working on a 6-hour video of this technique, so that's going to be pretty exciting. Looking forward to that. And so I really appreciate everybody, you know, coming by. So go ahead, remember, paintingglyphs@gmail.com. Go ahead and send me a quick email, and I'll send you this chart. And let me see if I could lower it. See, this chart is pretty cool. I go over how to dilute the Black India ink all the way from the lightest lights all the way to the darks, and how you build all the way up. Thank you again, Wendy. So definitely do that. So once you go ahead and email me, I have your email on file. I'll let you know when I'm doing live streams, new videos coming out, you know, YouTube, that sort of stuff. Thanks, Willie, for stopping by, man. It's always great to talk to you. I always appreciate it. So guys, have a wonderful Wednesday night, and I will talk to you on the web, and I'll see you next Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. and that's Eastern time. And I know I'm going to feel better because I'm not going to have 3 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches beforehand. God bless everybody. Take care of yourselves.